like candy in my mouth. I wish I had wings like an aeroplane. I wish I had wings like an aeroplane. I fly down, find my baby, and never be lonesome again. Some blues are just blues, mine are lonesome blues. Some blues are just blues, mine are lonesome blues.
All right. You could kind of just remarking on how we all probably feel the intense energy in this space right now. Spaces. So we're gonna just do a song first to kind of kick things off and see where that takes us. So let's just crank it up. You got some lyrics. Let's all sing.
You be the steeple, you be the king, I'll be the people. Well, I was feeling such a mess, I thought you'd leave me behind. Well, I was being such a wreck, I thought you'd treat me unkind. But you helped me change my mind. I'll be the sun, you be the shining. You be the clock, I'll be the timing.
that song, you know, that was, I think that's a message from Zetty to all of us, but Zetty, when we first met, pretty shortly after that, we did like a road trip out west. It was sort of my way, I guess, of like taking her into my world. And she played that song on that road trip. And, you know, we always just circled back to that song whenever stuff was tough. And obviously stuff was pretty tough. Pretty tough right now. But yeah, I mean, that leads me to just, well, let me back up here. Because I just first want to just thank everybody for showing up here today. It's definitely crazy to look around and see all these people in this same space. You know, this whole thing with that losing their life is, it's just, as I'm sure you guys all feel, it's just really hard to accept and make any sense of whatsoever. And I think what I circle back to is just all of you guys. Like, you guys are such a reflection of Zetty's life. You know, we're in this place right now. We're you know, in life we find ourselves in places that we don't want to be. You know, it happens. And you know, I certainly don't want to be doing this right now. There's a lot of other things I'd rather be doing. Spending time with Zetty. But at the same time, there's a duality to that. And I look around and I'm like, look at all these great people. And I want to, like, you know, hug all of you and tell stories and laugh. We did a lot of that last night. That was super fun. Just having some beers and just laughing, and you know, like we all know Zetty's laugh, right? And we were talking about how slow she is and stuff. It's like 3-hour like joke that she told that has like a terrible punchline. Yeah, just it's endless, you know, and I really want that to be the focus of what we're doing here today. Is you know, obviously we're all pretty upset, but if there's anything that I figured out, like, over the past few months, is you just got to get up and do it. You know, you just got to do it. And you got to do it for Zetty, because that, you know, you're like, you circle back to like, what would you want people to be doing? And you're like, I want people to be smiling. I want people to be remembering all the good times, you know. And I can just, yeah, I've been hearing her ever since I got here, just being like, oh man, look at that guy, look at that, oh, you know, like, oh man, I want to hang out with all these people. And really, she is, like, she's everywhere, you know. She's absolutely everywhere. When this first happened, I don't know, luckily my instinct was to just kind of go back to zero and just like not really have notions about spirituality or whatever, and just like open myself up completely to whatever messages were that she was sending. And I tell you what, it's just this wild, it's a wild place to live in. And it happens all the time, especially through this little plugger over here. It's totally, yeah. If you get to see or spend any time with Bridger, like, she's obviously Zetty's light is shining bright through Bridger. Yeah, I was just saying to somebody on my drive down here, just kind of spacing out. I was driving along the Mad River, just getting into Moortown, and I looked. I don't know. I don't even know how this happened because I was like driving, like 45 miles an hour, but I just like looked down in the river and there was a bald eagle sitting on a rock, staring at me. Maybe it wasn't staring at me, but it felt like we like locked eyes for a minute. And that's like that, that's like, that's, I don't know. For me, that's Zetty, that's love. That's that space. This wild space that I, especially my relationship with Bridger and everything, that I never would have had any access to otherwise. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for being here. There's some people in here that have been totally critical for me right from the start, that are here, and they know who they are. And just, you gotta lean into it. You gotta lean in. If I have any advice, like, you just gotta lean into it and lean into the love and the changes, and you sort of get a bit more comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'll just touch a little bit on how like significant this place is for Zetty. Formative years of her life, and this place it was a place of inspiration for her, a place of love, a place of adventure, and some incredible lifelong friendships. And when we first met, I had basically been living like cuddling up with my dog for the past like 8 years. And I didn't really, I was not on, I was like definitely on a different vibe. I remember, like 2 months in, dear friends of hers, now mine, Connor and Amanda, were getting married here, and Zetty starts, I think she kind of tactfully, slowly started introducing me to the whole camp history of her life, and I was definitely like, this was not in my wheelhouse, not in my circle. Like it was totally foreign to me, and was totally uncomfortable for me, for sure. And so then she's like, I'm officiating their wedding, and I'd like you to come. All my friends are going to be there that you never met before. My parents are going to be there. I can't go down there with you. Can can I take your truck? And, I think I would take Shadow, my dog. Take Shadow with me. And so I had to risk my life driving with where's Sarah? Driving with Sarah Caliendo. Maybe later we can tell the story about how you were driving around with your headlights off. How to use this opportunity. Anyway, yeah, I just, kind of arrived here. I was joking last night, and I stayed close to Aaron because I had met him. Well, I guess I had met a few of you guys, like maybe a week earlier at this party that Zetty had at her parents' house. But anyway, I was just kind of thrown into this whole scene and was totally intimidated and uncomfortable. And but yeah, by the end of it, I totally got it. And all of these folks that these core friends on campus is such incredible people, and man, if you spend time with them, Zetty is just here. So many funny stories, so I hope you get yeah, and to touch on that, like, I've had to really, you're with somebody for a long time, and everything, just like all the memories and everything, they just like stack on top of each other, and you forget where it all started, where it all began, and like what was the thing that was that spark. And when me and Zetty, everything happened pretty fast, and we packed so much in the past 9 years. And obviously now, that's just the way we work. But when I first met her at the Daily Planet in Burlington, we sat down for a couple beers and some food, and yes, she just had this. She had that spark. She had this twinkle, oh, like her eyes. Whew. Her eyes are unreal. And Bridger has her eyes. Look in Bridger's eyes. But she just had this twinkle, and then that really, what that was, and what I've been able to pinpoint was that it was this unbelievable kindness. And I think, I say that. Zetty had this way of, she had this way of listening to people. She could make you feel like you were so heard and listened to, and like you were the only person in the room. She had this ability to just totally focus in on people. And like when I met her, and I had been living this life that was pretty lonely and all over the place, and like it just, she felt like home to me. That like always was for everyone. That's just how she was. That's what she brought to the table. And I think about all the amazing qualities about her, and I really feel like that's sort of the root of it. She disregarded anything like negative or whatever word you want to use, but negative or unappealing about people, and just really like just focused in on only the good things. And she obviously had that way of like pulling that out of people too, in the way that she interacted with people. And it was incredible to watch. And that's another thing. Like I'm sure we all can relate. Like it was just so amazing to watch her be herself. And yeah, so we all, we're all here and we all have a different reference point for Zetty. Different parts of her life, and they're all just so special and really important. And that's really what, again, that's what this is all about. It's about Zetty. It's about remembering all these things and really honoring all of you who have been a part of her life in all different ways and in all different stages. That you guys are a reflection of who she was. And she was so steady, like I'm all over the place. Zetty is like just so calm and so steady with her energy, and again, like that's something I admired her for that, but I don't think I really dug deep on trying to figure out what it was, and since she's passed, like I think about that a lot, and I've sort of landed on, her service work, like, it's like her kindness, and then which attracted her to working with people and supporting other people and providing all these amazing experiences for other people. And she was a giver, and she lost herself in the self in those acts. And yet, you look at people that do that, and they tend to be the happiest people. Because they're not focused on themselves, and in turn, they become actually, really satisfied people. And, that's, I think, like, the kindness, the service work, the selflessness is, for me, that's Zetty's legacy. That's the lesson for all of us. Yeah, and so, I'm going to close this up, but, when Zetty left the house on April 11th, the night before, we had been making all these plans, and Zetty was psyched. She was planning a trip to go to Alaska. She was just rattling off all this stuff at me. Go to Alaska, do this, and we were talking about, plans. We would always do a trip to the White Mountains for our wedding anniversary. And, she was stoked. She was just so supported you know, by me personally, but by her friends and by her people that she worked with, and yeah, so I don't know what that does for everyone. She was in a really good place, really good happy place. And the beauty of this situation that we have here is that we have the ability to send Zetty this really concentrated burst of love and reassurance that, you know, that the type of love that we would give her if she was physically here, you know, and she still needs that. And I sort of see this gathering as an opportunity to put her at ease, to send her this concentrated dose of love, and to reassure her that, like, in her transition, like, she can move freely and really, you know, settle in her energy, her spirit can settle into wherever it's headed. So that's like what I want, you know, first and foremost, for everybody to just like keep in their hearts and in their minds, and sort of like as a mantra, you know, really send that to Zetty. So, to close this part up, what I'd like to do with like what I just said in mind is just, if we could just do like a really simple breathing exercise, where we're just gonna take a breath in for 5 seconds and a breath out for 5 seconds, and you know, you can do this at your own pace. It's kind of an interesting thing when we get a bunch of people together to like breathe together and really do that intentionally. But I just want to do that maybe 10 times before we move on, and just really focus on like on our breath in, to focus on like the gratitude we have for life, you know, for all that we have here in this physical world, and all the people that are in this space, but you know, everyone else has loved ones and other places. So like, if we could just focus on that gratitude for life and love, and then on our exhale, just basically be sending that out in all directions to Zetty. So I guess I'm going to end this singing bowl, and then I guess I can just kind of guide it to start. We can just like close our eyes and just take a breath in, and breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out.
So Eric is going to go first and say a verse. We'll say it together. Sky could join us if he wants. That
How's this? Okay. Parker mentioned, and I'm sure everyone's had an experience in one way or another about what a good listener Zetty was. I just wanted to say a few things about that from the point of view of a dad. But I'll just say a verse. First, this is a verse that I used to say to Zetty at bedtime. And we would say it together, actually. We weren't religious or anything, but we were grateful and like to express gratitude. So the verse is by Rudolf Steiner. It's to wonder at beauty, to watch over truth, to esteem what is noble, to resolve on the good. It leads human beings to aims in their lives, to right in their action, to peace in their feeling, to light in their thinking, and teaches them trust in the workings of God, in all that exists, in all the world, in depths of soul. Zetty listened to that. Yeah. We said blessings at meal times, but that was the evening one. It was really cute to hear her, say those words. But one thing she learned at Merrowvista, there are all these values here about being your best self and service to others and all these sayings that we see posted around here. But I remember at the end of camp sessions, Heather used to tell the kids it's important that you have this good experience and understand these values that we've been talking about. But the important thing will be to take what you've learned here into the world. And Zetty listened to that. And she did that all along the way, from here to working at Dream. She brought the values, the message that she had been tasked to spread from Merrowvista to Dream, and did her work there in an inspiring organization. And then from Dream to Chill, same thing. She took childhood gratitude and these blessings that she listened to with all these other influences and brought that into the world. Shared that gratitude, shared that feeling with everyone she knew. In terms of being a dad, parents try to give advice to their kids, their experience and wisdom, and Zetty actually listened to stuff and took it places that we had no idea she would take it to. She got more out of it than we were given. She was great. One of the community service activities that I'm involved with in our town, cemetery commissioner. So I spent some time in cemeteries, and it's the old cemeteries, colonial cemeteries, and I see a lot of beautiful stones, epitaphs, and well, this is what I came up with from having spent a bunch of time in cemeteries and around epitaphs, and caring for Zetty's grave at home, and thinking about memorializing it. In the golden lightness of light, through the silver darkness of death, your spirit, your radiant spirit shines, your embracing love endures.
So, I have been doing reading with my friend Geraldine. And Geraldine and I both trained as Waldorf teachers, and I don't know if you know what that means at all, but it means that we studied the work of Rudolf Steiner. That was part of our training, was that we studied the work of Rudolf Steiner. So when this happened, when Zetty died, that was what I went back to as for spiritual guidance. And Geraldine and I have been reading from this book called Staying Connected. It's a collection of lectures by Rudolf Steiner in the early 20th century, focused on maintaining the relationship with those who have passed through the gates of death and into the spiritual world. And one of the things that he says is that love is really important. Letting those loved ones know that we still love them, that our love is enduring. It is with them even though they're not here with us in the physical world. And I have all these notes written out here that I'm not reading, but in one of the lectures, he talks about how our loving memories for those who have passed into the spiritual world, our loving memories for them is analogous to art in our world. So when we see a work of art or hear beautiful music, or it gives us pleasure. It enhances our lives. It gives us more even than looking at the beauty of nature. So whatever the art is, whatever creative impulse comes through, it enhances our lives in the physical world. And so our loving thoughts and memories do that for the souls who have gone into the spiritual realm. When we send our loving thoughts and memories to Rosetta, she feels that. She senses that. It's like we are showering her with beauty. So don't hesitate. Do it, not just for Rosetta, but for all those loved ones who have gone ahead of us. And give give that to them. It's something that we can do. And I feel, as Parker was saying, I feel Rosetta's blessings coming to me. This is an experience that I would not want anyone ever to have to go through. I need strength and courage every day to live in this world. I feel Rosetta's strength and courage coming to me, and every day I ask the spiritual world to send me the strength and courage I need just to live with this new life that I have. And the gratitude. Without Rosetta, we would not have Parker. Without Rosetta, we would not have Bridger. Such blessings. All of you are here in our life today because of Rosetta. That was one of the things she did. She brought people together. And she had so much love. Those hugs. Yeah. That was it. She just had so much love. And we can give it to her, and she can give it to us. So when you have that feeling of warmth and just a warm embrace from Rosetta, you know that that is a blessing coming from her. So I think if you have these cards, some people might have one. I'm going to read the verse that's inside. If you don't have one, I think they're in the bond, and you can get one before you leave. Please take one for yourself. So this is a verse written by Rudolf Steiner in 1915. This was a time in Europe when many lives were being lost, and there was a lot of young people losing their lives. And so there was a tremendous need for this work to maintain the connections with the ones who had gone into the spiritual world. So if you'd like to read this with me, you may, whatever. Feel how we gaze lovingly into heights that now call you to other work. May your power reach out from spirit realms to the friends you left behind. A hope that makes us happy, a loss that pains us deeply. Let us hope that you light our lives, far and near, unlost, a soul star in the spiritual firmament.
Hi, my name is Brittany. I worked for several years with Zetty, and after she died, I came across this poem that... after Zetty passed away, I came across this poem that really spoke to me. I had the lucky pleasure of spending a lot of really beautiful moments with her in nature, and this poem is by Sarah Ryan. I don't know where you went. after you left your body, but I know that light went somewhere. Yesterday, I imagined that you were the shimmer dancing on every wave, touched by the sun. Tonight, I will believe that your soul burst into a million stars now resting in the sky, and all pain and suffering fizzled out into the black. I don't know where you will be tomorrow, but it will be magical.
Hello, my name is Connor, and I first got to experience the joy of Zetty here, and then we continued on to teach little kids how to ski in Montana. It was pretty challenging. And continued on to have incredible life adventures, and so thrilled and to have been one of the many people in the circle to have called Zetty the best friend, and met incredible people through that all. And one of the ways that I process and reflect is through song. And for 5.5 months of grappling with what it is to lose Zetty, I haven't been able to access the songwriting through that. And I knew I wanted to sing something in this circle it's part of how I gravitate towards reflection and to community. And so I was ready to play a song from a really important person in my life. And then I was up on Belden Hill in Guildford. I was in Brattleboro and had an incredible opportunity to, numerous visits that I've been able to have over the last few months with loved ones in Vermont. And I was sleeping up on Belden Hill and woke up in the morning. It was a beautiful, colder than this day in September. And to wake up in that space and to wake up kind of beside where Zetty lies was really powerful, and I entered into some reflection about how grateful I am, and many of us are, to be able to see the reverberant energy of Zetty out there, and it's in the little things that spark the memories and spark the thought, and I'm a deep believer that those are in us, like those reflections, those reverberant things that they're reminding us of that energy that Zetty has helped grow in each of us. And so when I see these things that make me reflect on that, it's really powerful. So I started just feeling a lot of those coming through song. And then a couple days later, Brittany sent that poem, and I was like, well, that's that thought. I was like, I don't need to write the song. That is the distilled version of everything that I've been thinking, and I just love how it closes with that thought of I don't know where I'll see you tomorrow, but I know it'll be magical. And so I moved on to thinking about a different song to play here, and then on Thursday that didn't feel right, like the right decision. So so I went back in and I've moved this song along, and this is my current reflection place with it, and in the spirit of all of us being together, this is definitely I've never played it for people, so it's really hard to say it's a sing-along. But there's an element towards the end of the song where I, in a repetitive kind of breathing mentality, kind of say, I see you. And if you're drawn to also sing that part, I feel like that will feel right. Here we go.
It was always on my mind. Anytime that I would call you. Where are you now? Would you mind if I followed you in directions that you wander, through the rarest of places? I'll meet you there, where the wind roses faces. Oh, where do I find you now? Oh, where do I find you now? And the question returns, and these days laced with sorrow, what a rare place to be, hunting for magical tomorrows, in the sunlight and shadows, where the oaks are never still, and the prayer flags tatter on a mountain of a hill. Oh, where do I find you now? Oh, where do I find you now? I see you in the tiniest of things. I see you in the hearts made of stone. I see you in the spinning of wheels. I see you in the tracks in the snow. I see you in the cracks in the granite. I see you in every single rose. I see you in my most loved pictures. I see you in the fire's pulsing glow. I see you in every Z out there. I see you in a mad river star. I see you when I am my proudest. I see you when it's hard. I see you in your daughter. I see you in everything she does. I see you in your brother. I see you in everything he does. I see you in your mother. I see you in everything she does. I see you in your father. I see you in everything he does. I see you in your husband. I see you in everything he does. I see you in my reflection. I see you in everyone you love. I see you. So here I sit beside you, where the oaks are never still, and I look down upon you as you look out from this hill. And this is where I find you now, but I see you everywhere, and I am right behind you now, and you're behind me everywhere. I see you.
So we are a contingent of the crazy camp friends that Margaret was talking about, mixed with some spouses, mixed with some crazy Vermont friends. And this is a song that we sang at camp starting in 2008 that just reminds us of Zetty. And we're going to sing, we're trying to organize ourselves. We're my people. So you're going to find lyrics to this song in the back of your program. And we are going to sing it through, all the way through. This is the sound of all of us. And then you'll hear us do some booing. And then at that point, we are going to invite all of you to stand and sing the last two verses with us. This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is
So we're going to enter into something that I know that Zetty would love, and this could be one of those things that you might have the initial reaction like Parker, being like, not my thing. We're going to do a group hug. No, I'm just kidding. So however you want to enter into this, if you want to lean in and find your energy that comes from Zetty, or if you just want to observe, that's also okay, but it is not a particularly challenging thing. But you probably know an element about Zetty, the moments of appreciation of deep thought, and Eric led us into some of that understanding with just the deep way that she listened to the world and incorporated that, and how she also looked for meaning and symbolism. And this is an area that we particularly geeked out on, the love of the metaphor. We could very easily just be like, all right, tell me a metaphor about how your day is like that rusty nail. And we could do it. And Parker also brought a bunch of very significant items here from Zetty's life, from their shared life, and there was an invitation in the email as well. Whether you read it or not, you are welcome here. To bring a small item or something that brings to mind an essence of Zetty or a story. And this is a activity that we're going to kind of break from one person at the microphone to encouraging you to chat with the people around you. I'll give it a little bit more form so it makes some sense, but just kind of when we enter into conversation, please find 3 or 4 people that are around you. It's probably extra meaningful if it's somebody whose story you don't already know. So turn to the people beside you and behind you, and we share. You may have brought a significant item from your path with Zetty. If you have it with you and you want to share what it is and what memory it holds for you, and maybe what it's sharing with you now, or even if you didn't bring it but you know what it is and you're very descriptive, that's also welcome. As example, for me, I brought some ashes from this fire from 2007-8, when many of us were here and many of us were a part of collecting these ashes. And a short version of the story that I would tell would be that I've carried these ashes in my car, my awesome Volvo, and then my next car that traveled with me on all of these adventures that I've been on in life, and many of those were with Zetty, including moving to Montana and moving back, and this has gone with me everywhere. And further symbolism was able to return some of these ashes with Zetty at her burial. And so this connection, so I wanted to bring those here as well. So that would be something that I could share. And further stretching your metaphorical prowess, we have these baskets with beads and little gems and things on them. We encourage you, as these come around, to either spend a few seconds looking at this and finding the one that jumps out at you as an access point to a Zetty thought or a Zetty memory. There's shells, there are hearts, there's turquoise, there's words, there are little silver pendants and things. This would be particularly wonderful if you didn't spend a very long time. We have about 6 of these baskets that we'll just pass around. And there are some of you who probably would like the journey of just reaching in there without looking and then be like, this is the one that came to me. And you can use that as an access point to share another memory or a story. And part of the thought behind this is, as we continue for the rest of our central gathering, as we move towards opening up to everybody's voice, as you hold this and as you carry this with you, you're infusing this moment, this experience, this weekend into that item. So whether it has significance already, I'll start passing. Whether it has significance already or if this is the moment that it starts to become significant, you get to put some of that energy into it. And when we return to the eating lodge later today, we have a bunch of paracord or accessory cord that looks like climbing rope, which is one of the one of the options that feels particularly Rosetta. But rather than have this be an arts and crafts moment, this is what will be at the eating lodge, and you can take a piece of this and make a bracelet or a necklace, something that will keep your bead of significance with you. So that will be available during the bluegrass section of our time. So I'll pass these around, and then when you have your item, you've had a little bit of time to think, please turn to the people around you and be in conversation for a little bit. When you hear a chime, we'll transition into the next part of what we intend to do. And so please enjoy a little bit of time together. As far as like an estimate, we feel like we'll probably take 10 minutes or so to talk with the people around you. So take your time, and we'll get into it.
All right, so you'll see in the program there, we're gonna do this this chant collectively, and this is a well-known Tibetan Buddhist mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, and this was introduced to me. I have a friend from college who lost his wife to breast cancer, and when this happened to Zetty, he reached out, and it was pretty. I don't know. The conversation I had with him was pretty crucial for me, and he sort of introduced this to me, and I had it going on in my head, just sort of constantly. It was very soothing for me, sort of even before I really knew what it was all about, and the meaning of this. It's expressed in different ways, but one of the ways it's expressed is praise the jewel inside the lotus. And lotus flowers, they bloom out of deep mud, and the roots sort of follow the light up, and the flower is able to burst like through the water to bloom. And Om, you may be familiar with this. This is a symbol of ourself, of like our impure body, speech, and mind, and it sort of represents generosity and sort of purifying our ego. Mani is the jewel. Symbolizes compassion and love, and Padme meaning lotus, symbolizing wisdom, the wisdom of the lotus flower to bloom out of this deep mud, and Hum meaning seed. So there's lots of different versions of this, but a dear friend of Zetty's family, and Zetty had a really close relationship with Charlie Braun, who was her neighbor growing up, and their family. We're gonna play his version of this song, and I'm just gonna pass this over to Sky.
Yeah, so when Parker mentioned that he wanted to recite this mantra, it occurred to me that we have a recording of Charlie doing this. And Charlie passed 2 years ago this time. And so it was a wonderful discovery to find that we had this. And he can join us and lead us in this mantra. And it is also on the back of the card that you have. It's also in the main program on the central gathering schedule where it says community mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. And that is the whole thing. And we say it again and again. And we send it up.
Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme 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 Om Mani Padme
and it had a bumper sticker that said, "The real revolution will be love." And it feels fitting that he would help us with that. In a moment, we're going to open this up and let everyone share, if you feel so moved in this moment. There are a few microphones that we can bring to you so you can stand where you are. The microphones are both to help us hear you and also to make sure that your story is captured in our recording. If this doesn't feel like the right moment for you, but you do have something, as I know we all do, please take some time and visit the video recording booth so that we can have your story. And that Bridger can have your story in the years to come. Charlie was another father figure to Rosetta and I. And we lost him shockingly and quickly. Also to distracted driving on his bicycle. And we gathered for him, and we had music and sharing, and it was beautiful, just as we're doing now. And I don't want to keep doing this. And I do want to keep gathering. And so we are going to keep reaching out, not too much, because it doesn't want to feel like too much. But we are going to keep connecting through Zetty with all of you and all those who couldn't be here today. And we're going to keep telling her stories, and we're going to keep getting out there and getting after it. I'm going to turn off this mic, or I'm going to set this mic down. And if you have a story of joy or challenge or Zetty or whatever it is that moves you, please join us.
I feel like I've been mentally preparing for this, so I'm determined and no idea what's going to happen, so I just wrote it down. We're just going to do that. My name is Angela Snow. I have known Rosetta since before I was born. Our parents were in birthing class together, and then her and I were in birthing class together with our daughters Acacia and Bridger, virtually. Thank you, Internet. Before I share my very short and silly story, I wanted to share some thoughts on my grieving. I'm sure we've all experienced this in so many ways, and hearing from others has helped me. I've never felt sorrow like this before, and along with that has been lots of confusion, as well as with the weight of the impossibility of what her close family could possibly feel. Part of the confusion is because Rosetta wasn't a see-every-day friend or a see-every-year friend. How could I love someone so much and not really know that much about her, or know a lot about her, but still so little about her? Which brings me to the appreciation of this amazing group and getting to hear all the stories and getting to be with everyone, what has come about and will come about. I've also felt so lucky in my grieving. For some reason, I've had no fear of her pain, just feeling her shining, smiling peace. And I'm so grateful for that, and I believe it. Okay, my very silly short story is the first one I thought of and shared with my 3-year-old. When we were little, we were eating spaghetti and drinking apple juice and spilled apple juice on top of our spaghetti, and we still ate it, and we thought it was delicious, and we laughed and laughed. And then every time we saw each other forever, over years, we'd always tell the same story and say, spaghetti and apple juice, and laugh, because that's, of course, what you would do with Rosetta. And I can't wait to hear everyone else's stories around the fire later, or now, or whenever.
Hi everyone, I'm Liz Gleason. I feel like there's so many like wholesome things happening, and all the ways that folks knew her were so wholesome. Like this camp is so wholesome. Those SpaghettiOs, so wholesome. Zetty and I met on Craigslist, and we sort of honed our friendship over like many beers at the Three Needs in Burlington before it moved. Parker said, Connor said this so beautifully, like just being one of many people here who feel like so lucky to call Zetty my best friend. One second. So Zetty and I we met on Craigslist, and we were like emailing each other because she had a room to rent and I was sort of looking for a room, but we soon like very quickly discovered I didn't actually want that room because it was like a room with all these dudes, and she didn't want me to live there either, and we were walking around Burlington and becoming like fast friends over the course of just like one day, and we met at like 10 a.m. on a Saturday. We spent the whole day together. We like went to the tea shop. We did our Christmas shopping together. She was looking for something for Dale for Christmas, and at the end of the day, she was like, "Well, you should just move in with me," because she was about to move into a house with a bunch of Merrowvista people, and there was a room. And I moved in with her like a week later. And people have said this about the Merrowvista community, like I really felt like I was welcomed with open arms. It's a beautiful community. It's sometimes a little creepy, like they all talked the same and like had the same hand motions, and like I just sort of got absorbed into that with them. And I felt so loved. So Sarah and Lauren and Zetty, thank you. And I'm so happy to be here with all of you.
I actually have a question. When are we going to read these? I'm happy to read it and share it because I think everybody would enjoy hearing that. That would be great. Oh, I'm Nancy Story. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. And Dale and Fran and I are first cousins and grew up together in Missouri. And the thing I'm going to read is what someone has written, a memory of Zetty. Zetty was so pokey. She did everything with such care and intention. Sometimes it drove me crazy. But she was so delightful and warm and welcoming that it was impossible to find it anything other than endearing.
It's a good invitation to, we read these in many different ways and interpret the things as they need to fit into our lives. So even if your paper isn't still in front of you, but you remember something that somebody else had shared and you wanted to amplify that and reverberate that, that's lovely.
Hello, I don't know if this is working. I'm Tova. I'm a Merrowvista friend. We met when I think we were probably 11. We were campers together, and I have lots of really beautiful adventure memories, transcendent, lovely nature memories. I'm gonna talk today about. I think I've shared this story a couple times. A day off. We were 4 trails leaders, so like after being dumb 11-year-olds together, we were like even dumber, if it's possible, 20-somethings together. Working here, leading trips for teenagers, being paid terribly. But it didn't matter because we only had like 2 days off. So you couldn't spend your money. Like, it didn't matter that you didn't get paid well because you're here all the time, couldn't do anything with your money anyway. And on our day off, and actually that was my memory about her being pokey. So we had a day off together, and like when we were finally, everybody was in the car and ready to go. We went and had just a beautiful day at Diana's Baths in North Conway, lovely. And then we went to the outlets. And we went, to the Pearl Izumi outlet and Gap and PacSun, like all over the place. We bought just like all sorts of stuff. And then we got back in the car together, and we were like, we don't need all this stuff. What are we doing? And we went back to all of those stores and returned all of our stuff, and then got back to the car, and we were just like giddy. We were like, look how much money we have. We have so much money. Oh my God, what are we gonna? We just like giddy and laughing, and also laughing at how ridiculous we were, and how just stupid the whole thing was. And I think in moments where I can get wrapped up in whatever stupid thing, I remember that way she had of just finding joy and delight and laughing at the goofiness of it all. So.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm really bad with microphone. I'm Gemma. I grew up next door to Rosetta. I don't really have any memories from my childhood that don't include her. It was always the 6 of us. Chloe and Cedar were the oldest, and then Sky and Aaron, and then me, and Rosetta was the youngest. And we just spent all of our time together playing, and we'd go home for lunch, and that was about it. One of my favorite, and I don't know if this is a memory or just a picture, but one of my favorite things is that there's this picture of all of us walking down to the bus stop. Rosetta wasn't old enough to go to school yet, but she is trailing along with us because we just went everywhere together. So in trying to think of a memory to share, there's a lot. But 2 kind of came to mind. One that's just silly and wonderful is one time she really wanted to learn all the words to a song, and for some reason we picked the Tina Turner song, What's Love Got to Do With It? I think because I had the cassette, and so we played it over and over again, and I just have this vivid memory of her on my loft bed singing the song over and over again until she knew all the words to What's Love Got to Do With It. I think another memory of Zetty is that when she started going to school, I remember learning that her other friends were calling her Zetty, and I felt very protective because I felt like, well, that's our nickname for her. Like, other people can't call her Zetty, and I think as I've seen her just grow into this amazing, wonderful woman, I'm realizing that I think a lot of people feel that way of like, wait, you're best friends with her? Because I'm best friends with her. How are we all like best friends? And she is just light. Like, she is just light. And one of the ways that I've been processing things, some advice I got after my dad was taken from us, is just go outside and let the universe hold whatever it is you're feeling. So if you need to go outside and scream or cry or talk, because there is no amount of grief or love or anything that the universe cannot hold. And it's felt these last couple of months like the universe is the only thing that can hold the grief this big. So that's my little piece of advice of just go outside and look at the stars. And I think that's a Zetty thing to do, is just to be outside and be in nature. And
Hi, I'm Geneva. Zetty was my sister-in-law. Coming into this weekend, Sky kept asking, what do I need from this weekend? And I kept saying, well, I don't want to speak. I don't want to be in front of people. I don't know. But I've been reflecting. Since her accident, I have felt gutted in a way that after losing other close family members, I haven't felt. And when I think back, I first met her when Sky and I first started dating, and that was, I think, a week before she met Parker. And very soon after, she invited me and one of my friends to her house where Parker was. I got to meet Parker first. That was very exciting. And they hosted us for breakfast, and I remember meeting Liz, too, and all their friends. And I remember at that time, Sky and his family had this text group called the Fably text group, Fably, and I just was like, oh, I hope someday to be part of that. Like, they just, loved each other so much and love each other so much and love to connect and share, and that wasn't what I grew up in. And, she married us. She was there in the morning. We delivered our twins along with our parents. She was there for these really critical moments of life, and I just feel like we didn't have enough of them together. So I think, as I'm processing this, I think what we're all feeling, she just was taken too soon. And, my last memory, I think, is right after the holidays last year. Us exchanging jeans and trying on each other's clothes. And, where did you get those jeans? I want different, what are you wearing these days? And it just felt like a moment with a sister that I'd never had. She was really profoundly special, and I miss her.
My name is Delia, and I am from a larger group than these four women from high school. So there are a lot of really amazing memories, many of which are not appropriate for most people, but we have vowed to make sure that Bridger gets to hear them when it's time. Some very interesting first forays into sex and drinking, and we're from Vermont, so we definitely smoked pot. Sorry, Dale and Eric. But there are others who wish they could be here and are definitely holding everyone here very closely. And Elisar has picked out a Robert Frost poem to share. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay.
So yeah, just another side of Zetty. I don't know. I have so many stories about her, but another side of Zetty that maybe we haven't touched on is that she was really strong and super tough, and just this like, again, just this like super steady, resilient person. And we were married, but we were also climbing partners and ski partners. And that relationship was super deep. And, we applied all that like judgment and decision making to like our lives. But mostly what we were doing, we were just playing. We loved to play. Like that's all we ever wanted to do, is just play together. And so I'm just thinking of this quick story. One time we were to show how funny and tough she was. We were biking one day, and we came through this section, and there was like a low tree that was down, and it was right in this dip. And I saw it, and I luckily, I ducked my head under it and came zipping out. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I should tell her about this. But I was like, she's short. It's like, she's going to be fine. And she just sort of got the timing wrong. And she ducked, but she stood up too early and like just stood up into this tree. And I heard a yelp and of course, like a lot of times where we'd be biking, on the downhill, on the uphill she would be in front of me, on the downhill I would be in front of her. And so, biking with someone or skiing with someone, you just never want to hear that noise, like, ah, or like scream. Like, do you hear screaming? Like, if you hear screaming, you're like, that's not good. So I heard I don't know, some whimpering or so, and I come running down, and she's like, and this is another thing about Zetty, is that if there's one thing that Zetty was just totally obsessed about, it's teeth, dental hygiene. It's super important to her, and I honestly I hear her all the time being because I have not gotten Bridger to a dentist yet. I mean, she's 3 years old, but just with everything, it's brush her teeth, take her to the dentist. And when we met, I'm totally embarrassing myself, but I hadn't been to the dentist in I had no insurance or anything. So I hadn't been to the dentist in 8 years or whatever. But anyway, so I run up to her and I'm like, are you okay? What happened? And she's just holding her mouth. And she's spitting out these little bits of teeth. Very tiny. We're talking these little flecks of teeth. And I see her, I'm like, what? Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? And she's taking them out, putting them in her hand. And then she looks at me and she starts putting them in her pocket. And yeah, it was pretty priceless with her. I was like, what do you think this is? They're not going to be able to put these back. She just couldn't help herself. It was her teeth. My teeth. So, anyway. Yeah. That's my story.
Hi, I'm Molly. I just feel compelled to mention Zetty as a mother because I became a mother a little bit before her. And we would have Parker and Zetty and Bridger over a lot to our house, and I was it was the end of the week or the day, and I'm tired, like all parents, and I'm sure she was. And you would look outside, and we're cracking beers and trying to have adult time, and Zetty would be like on the trampoline with the kids the whole time. Super focused on the kids, like just this like epic attention to the kids. And I've gotten to see, like, you know, we've talked about how she like listened and had such like an amazing ability to pay attention to people. And I think Parker has been paying really close attention to her because he's just in like absolute epic dad to Bridger, and I'm so happy that they were able to spend that time together and that she's passed that to him and that Bridger will always have that.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm a college roommate of UVM. Stringing coherent words together is not my strong suit, but we're going to try. Yep. Another one of her best friends, obviously.
And I am too.
And her too, and her too, and her too, and her too. Okay. Our senior year at UVM, I lost my father to a brain tumor, and my friends were a very strong source of strength in getting me through that. Rosetta was always just so mindful. She made me a mixed CD of all the right Dixie Chick songs. She gave my mother this beautiful, I don't know what it was called, but this beautiful stone. It was supposed to empower light, bring the light. Anyway, we lost my father. My father was an avid outdoorsman also in central Vermont. He wanted to defy age, and he and his buddies would always participate in the Sugar Bush Triathlon, which is actually adventure games because it's 4 events, but they like to call it the triathlon. It's in April. Anyway, so when he passed in January that next March, Rosetta's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, okay. So a lot of us came together. I can't remember if it was immediately the year after he passed or the year after, but Rosetta and I were a team. She was up for anything. She ran, I kayaked, she biked, thank God. And I got the ski leg. But before we got to the ski leg, you know, we were best friends because we were both very slow. We would get there when we would get there. You know, I didn't show her the course ahead of time. She'd never been there before. You know, I didn't show her this is where we're going to go. It ended at North Mount Allen, where she beautifully built a house. Anyway, follow my words. She had the bike leg, and I was waiting for her to arrive because I needed to do my last leg of the ski, and she didn't come, and she didn't come, and she didn't come. And Eric's like, where's my daughter? I'm like, I don't know. She's coming. Anyway, she turned when she was supposed to turn to go up north. She turned and went towards Sugar Bush South, and I don't remember. Did you guys go to get her? I don't remember. Yeah. Yeah.
She figured out that she was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And she hitched a ride back.
Right.
And the people who gave her a ride back took her almost up
Right.
to the lodge.
Right.
But they let her get out.
Oh, so far out of her way. So I did the ski, but you guys will be happy to know that we came in second because there were only 2 groups in our. but it was beautiful, and she knew exactly what I needed at that time, and she was there, and she listened a lot that semester, my first semester after my dad passed, and yeah, she just always knew. She knew how to be there for you. And I like to think that my gift from this, I know that's a weird way to say that, but I'm just going to share all the gifts that Rosetta shared with me, with my children. And they knew her a little bit, and that was beautiful. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name's Sophie, and also from the UVM contingent, but I've actually known Rosetta in every phase of my life. Our parents were friends, so we were family friends growing up, and then we were roommates for 2 years. The other 2 years, then her and Mary were roommates in college. And I didn't have a story prepared, but I was just thinking my freshman year of college, I got really, really sick during exams, and Rosetta's like in the middle of taking all of her exams, and I was just like, I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't do anything, and she just took such good care of me. She was such a good person. She like came back, such a rule follower. She came back one day. You were not allowed to take food out of the dining hall at all. And she came back and she looked so mischievous, and I was like, what's up? And she was like, I brought you food. And she had like soup in a pocket. Like, I don't know how she got it back. She had these like strange vegan cookies that I loved. Like, she just, remember those? They were so good. So she had brought all this food for me, and then she was like, and I have something else. And she had borrowed the box set of the TV show Felicity from somebody, maybe you guys. And she brought it, and we watched it together all week. And at one point, in the middle of it, she left to go take an exam, and she came back 2 hours later, and like the episode had ended, and it was a DVD, so it was like the theme song was just playing on loop, and had been for like an hour, but I was too sick to like get up and change it, and she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, please shut it off, like this is driving me insane. And so we finished it, and then we would like let the theme song play on as our joke, until it drove us too insane and we had to turn it off. But all that to say, we just really took care of each other in college, and it was just a really, really special relationship. And then after college, we we both lived on the West Coast at different times. We were just in different places, and we didn't see each other in person that much. But a few years ago, I started going up to Waitsfield and to Sugarbush with my family more regularly, and it was kind of the same time that she moved there, and we just have been able to spend a lot more time together these past few years, and our kids we would get the kids together, and it was just really, feeling like Geneva, I was just really, really excited to raise them up together and be those same kind of family friends that Rosetta and I were. So I still really look forward to doing that with our children and her nephews and family. I love you guys.
I can't stand very close to the fire, or I can't breathe. I'm Wendy. I'm Gemma's mom and Cedar's mom. Rosetta grew up next door to us. I had the ultimate honorable pleasure of seeing Rosetta born, and it was athletic, actually. It was amazing the way she popped into the world. And I still can see that in my mind, and it's lovely. The Morses used to come to our house, or we'd go to their house for family meals frequently, especially holidays. And one time we were sitting around the table, and Rosetta was known, this was when she was younger, but it was a mouth-tooth thing. She was known for always biting her lip or her tongue or something. I mean, she'd start bleeding at the table, like a lot. And so, all the time, right, yeah. So one evening we're eating and she starts crying and we don't see any blood. And we said, Rosetta, what's wrong? What's wrong? And Dale's saying, did you bite your nose? Did you bite your lip? Did you bite your tongue? No, she can barely speak. I bit my nose.
Hi, my name is Amanda. I was actually really nervous to talk, but I feel compelled. Yeah, got this. Okay. Liz and I are linked because we both met Rosetta on Craigslist. It's our bond that we share. So I met Rosetta when I moved to Bozeman, Montana, not knowing anyone, and found her on the internet. And she and Connor were moving into a house in Montana and looking for roommates. So similar to Liz, we became very fast friends within a day and moved into a wonderful house with 5 roommates. And Connor, Zetty, and I became very close friends and did everything together. We were working at the ski hill, Bridger Bowl in Bozeman, so the 3 of us were teaching ski lessons and doing a lot of skiing together. Connor and I quickly started dating at that time as well. And following the ski season, Zetty was going back to Merrowvista to work as a 4 trails leader for the camp. So she left Bozeman at that time and called me up on the phone saying, hey, we need another trail leader. Will you come and join me at Camp Merrowvista for the summer? So without really telling Connor, I kind of picked up and came here for the summer with Zetty. And she really, as a leader, she became a mentor to me and taught me basically a whirlwind of what I needed to know to lead kids in the woods within a couple of days. So she was able to teach me how to use a backcountry stove and get the gear ready. So we, as part of our time together in the summer, I had a group of, I think there was about 12, 13-year-old girls, and Kiri, who was my trip leader, and I went off on a backpacking trip together. And, having very little experience in the backcountry, except for what Zetty had taught me in the short couple of days, we forgot tent poles, camp fuel for the stove. We forgot the tarp and anything needed to treat water. So we get out into the woods having realized all of this and rationing water and food and keeping the girls all together in a very small number of tents needed to be successful. As we were sort of huddling that night trying to figure out what to do, luckily we were able to make an emergency call back to camp, and in the middle of the night, Zetty comes walking in. She probably walked 5 or 6 miles in the dark in a headlamp to bail us out with the supplies, and also brought some candy bars for us to get us through. So I think just that sort of support as a friend, we have since then been doing many adventures together. I really saw her as an adventure buddy and spent a lot of time with Connor and Parker and Zetty, chasing them around on mountain bikes and backcountry skiing and being out in the wilderness together. So I have such a great appreciation for what she was able to expose me to in terms of the comfort of being in the woods and the comfort of being outside. And I feel like there were so many moments in the last couple of summers and winters where we were out, in the middle of the woods or on a mountain, as we're chasing the boys up the hill, and me getting nervous and her just being there as a support network. She was just this supportive person helping me through these moments where we've got ski crampons on, we're tied together on walking up a glacier, and me being scared of heights. And I just have this memory of her just saying, "You got this, Mando. You got this, Mando." So I just continue to remember that, and I continue to think about that as I'm in the woods, and it just makes me now just crave adventure, because I find her there, and I find her on the single track and in the breeze and at the top of a mountain. So yes, that's all I want to share. I miss her, I love her, and I love all of you all because of her. So thanks.
Sorry. Thought I was ready. My name is Sarah. I met Zetty many years ago as a camper here at Merrowvista, and then we were interns together, and we worked together at Dream and lived together in Burlington, and I feel like I'm one of the many that feel lucky to consider her a best friend. I think that it says a lot about her. A lot of people have talked about how steady she was, and I would call her Steady Zetty sometimes. And she had such, in addition to being just a really fun person and amazing friend, I feel like I learned so much from her, and she had a really big impact on me. And I would say, like, in my life, I've used this mantra many times. What would Zetty do? And since this has happened, I've heard other people have reflected that. And it's pretty amazing that, she's that guiding light for so many people. And then I wanted to share one little, funny story. One time we decided to go on a little bike trip, the Kankamankus Highway, and it's a little, I guess not little, but she didn't really have the right bike set up. She had this little light racing bike, and she borrowed this really heavy long trailer, Bob trailer, that we called Bob. And it was really a terrible setup for a mountainous bike tour. And it was hard to take turns because it was so long and it was really heavy. But that situation of trying to bike with a really difficult setup might, for most people it might kind of bum you out, or just maybe even ruin your trip. But it did not the case for Zetty. We had so much fun. We laughed the whole time, and we have pictures of us, of her modeling the Bob trailer, with her just cracking up because it was so ridiculous. And yeah, so I think it just kind of speaks to her just endless positive energy and how she finds the good in any situation and makes the best of it. And that's all I wanted to share. And I'm really grateful to be sharing these stories with all of you.
Hi, I'm Lauren. This is the stupidest story to share. It's about Zetty, but it's the legend. It's the story that I always think of when I hear of Zetty. So everyone remembers this story, I think, who was around at that time. But so Zetty was an intern, and she was leading a group of, I think, kids from the city, maybe, up on one of the hikes in the area. And we would always bring a trowel, just in case a kid needed to go to the bathroom. And so, it's going. So she, this camper says, Zetty, I have to go to the bathroom. And Zetty's like, okay. And she explains, just like with a man. She's like, I'm going to explain how to be out in the woods. So she gives the kid, there's a little, have a trowel and a little toilet paper in a plastic bag. And she's like, okay, you dig the hole and you go to the bathroom in the hole and all the things. And so Zetty comes down from this hike because she said the camper came back and had gone to the bathroom in the plastic bag and looked at Zetty, and I just remember Zetty's face as she's telling the story. She's like, "What do you want me to do with these goodies?" And Zetty hiked all the way down the mountain with this child's bag of poop in her backpack. And she just came into the eating lodge and she was like, "Y'all, I have a story for you." And so that story just makes me laugh. So silly as it is, but that's what popped in when I thought of her. So.
So I worked with Zetty at Chill for the last few years, and she was definitely my first friend there, who really became a really close friend really fast. And like so many people, she was a bestie, and really, really went out of her way to make me feel really welcome there. And I actually had snowboarded a little bit before I started at Chill, but not a lot. I'm from the West Coast, and most of my outside adventure sports were in surfing. And she was really excited to go snowboarding with me. I know a lot of you knew Zetty as a skier, but I actually never skied with Zetty. I only snowboarded with her. And she insisted that she would always come snowboarding with me, which I thought was really cool. And I remember I was just kind of getting started, and she was like, "I'll ride whatever with you, like no worries." And so for, I think the first season, she rode like some of the most boring trails ever with me. And the second season, she talked me into going down a Black Diamond. And I spent most of that trail on my ass, and it was awesome. And I can do that now. And like I definitely owe a lot of that to her encouragement. And I'll definitely miss, we spent a lot of time plotting how we could go have adventures on company time. Sorry, Ben. We did that. We did a lot of chairlift chats, and I'm really going to miss her this winter. It's going to be really hard to not drive by her house every time I go snowboarding and ask her if she's going. But one of the stories that means the most to me about Zetty is, and some of you have heard this already, our house flooded during the Vermont floods, not once, but twice. But the first time, all the roads washed out, and we had about close to 4 feet of water in our basement. And Zetty and I spent a lot of time, we worked pretty closely together to kind of being in correspondence about power outages and things like that. Even though we don't actually live that close to each other, it was sort of a like, will you be on that meeting, et cetera. And so we had been in communication for the 24 hours before that when there was really heavy rains. And the next morning, I remember being on the phone with her and just losing my shit. Like, I was so upset. Our house was just, it was a big problem. And I remember her saying, like, "Can I do anything?" And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, "I'm just going to come over." And she did. She showed up. And she showed up in this really cute outfit. And I remember being like, "Yo, girl, you're going to get really dirty." And she did. She got down in the basement with us in, like, almost knee-deep mud and, like, mucked a bunch of crap out, like, for the whole day. And it was just how she was. Like, she showed up, and she knew how to show up and be really steady and really positive and just really, fun to be around, even in the hardest moments. And I know so many of us have those memories with her, and I'm grateful to be able to be here with everyone and share them.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ben. I lead the Chill Foundation and got to spend most weekdays with Zetty, mostly dealing with things that weren't too much fun. But somehow she always did make it fun. And I've never, when she passed, she left a big hole in our hearts, right? Each of us as people, and this group right here, more than any other group that's probably ever assembled. But at Chill, she left a gaping hole in our organization too. She was the heart and soul of this team that made so much happen for so many young people who really needed us to step up the way that you described, Brittany, and you've heard a lot about her today. She was that kind of leader at Chill, and she brought a lot of us along with her to step up in ways that we probably wouldn't have been able to otherwise. She was without a doubt the most beloved person that I've ever worked alongside or witnessed in a professional setting. and the nonprofit sector's full of really, really fucking wonderful people. And so is Chill, and there are a number of Chill people here today. So it's saying something, and I was sort of thinking on the way here today. I live in Massachusetts, and I was driving up alone, crying quite a bit on the drive, and I was thinking, why is that? Like, what explains that someone could stand out in such a special way? And I think for Zetty, it was because she saw every single person immediately and through time, regardless of what they did back, as somebody that was worthy of her love because they were a human being, first and foremost. And then came all the other stuff. And sometimes the other stuff made it easier to love, and sometimes the other stuff made it much harder for her to love someone back. But she just insisted on that as the premise upon which she was interacting with you. And that led her through so many things at Chill that were very difficult. It led us through so many things as an organization that were very difficult. And I think it's her big gift to all of us. She slipped that in each of our pockets without us ever realizing it. And it's there, like for the rest of our lives. We each have that here. And it's our job to draw on it and pull it out and use it when it's our turn to be like Zetty. But that was the thing that I think is permanent, one of many things, but certainly at the individual level for each of us, something that's permanently there for us when we need it.
This is so much.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably like, why the hell did he have to bring the snowboards in? Okay, Brittany. Brittany, why don't you pull that snowboard out? So Zetty was part of Chill Foundation, which is part of a larger community that is the Burton Snowboards community. Chill was started by Burton Snowboards many years ago. I'll spare you the details, but Zetty was beloved by hundreds and hundreds, probably more than 1,000 people that she'd worked with over the years at Chill and Burton. And Burton built a snowboard with her photography of a trip that she and Parker took. I don't know if you remember that moment, Parker. Can picture exactly where you were? Indian Creek. Do you want to say anything about that as a memory? If not, that's fine.
I mean, like she's got her head out the door of the scamp, and there's Shadow Dog right below her, and yeah, the desert was just a really special. It's a special place to a lot of people. It's a really special place for us. It was sort of where we would dry out after the winter. Just park the scamp down there for a week or so and just live that simple life, just climbing and watching the sunrises and the sunsets and all the colors. So this is just incredible.
Yeah. So that's got, signatures and little messages from a lot of us at Chill and Burton. And there's another one too that Brittany's gonna just take out for Bridger when she's ready to shred. It's a twin of that without the signatures.
Man, so much. Is the other microphone around? Yeah, there. I see the red light on this one. The green light has turned red. Okay, this one's green. Okay, so it's getting a little chilly, and there's a bluegrass band waiting for us, and some beverages, but we want to lean in and stretch the metaphor just a little more before we go. And so we've got some candles here. And if we can pass the candles around and everybody take one. My gosh, there are so many themes that have cropped up through all of this. Zetty showed up, right? And we all showed up here for her. In one of my earliest memories, I'm a little boy, 4 years old, and it's a warm summer morning. My mom and dad are waking up, and I am with them in their bed in the loft that is still their room today, though at that time our home was a little cabin. It's a sunny morning, and my parents share that we will have a new baby. I take to calling her Nunu. And I can still recall my excitement about the prospect of having a new baby. She had many possible names. Fiona, Alan, if a boy. I thought perhaps Harry, because it was such a beautiful name. When she was born, she was pink. And so there was no question that she was Rosetta. She was the smallest of the children on the hill. 3 families strung together by a grassy dirt road. 6 children, walking and then running on trails worn smooth by little bare feet, houses built by collective hands of neighbors showing up for each other, with side doors whose only purpose was to welcome the children in from the forest. Rosetta was quiet. She loved noodles with butter and dolls and playing in her little kitchen. She dreamed of owning a candy store and living upstairs. School was fine. Everything was good. Her one-word answers defined her. We are here in this place today because Merrowvista is core to the awesome person who that little Rosetta became. She found herself here. She found her voice and her strength around this fire, in these buildings, and on adventures launched from this place. In a message that she left on our answering machine, she said, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm okay. I crashed my bike on Camp Hill. I got some stitches above my eye, but I'm doing fine, and I'm going to stay." She was tough. And she did. And she came back year after year, and in time, in song, in body, and in spirit, she became her own self at her very best all the time. It was here that she was given the name by which we all know her, Zetty. The day we lost Zetty, on April 11th, I went to the crash site, and I felt her immensely. As people gathered around us, I heard her voice mingling in the familiar sounds of friends and family. The days which followed were a whirlwind of shock and action, and somewhere there I lost her. And that energy I felt was gone. In the weeks that followed, I did not feel her or hear her. She did not visit me in my dreams. I didn't feel her energy anymore. And then one day I went for a run in the woods. And as I crossed the dam and headed into our forest, I heard footsteps behind me. And I knew she was there. I felt her warmth. And I heard her voice. She spoke to me, and she held me, and she filled me with her energy again. And we ran together. I have not run so fast and so easily in many years. As she carried me, I felt like I was flying. I was full of questions, and she had answers for me. And we ran through the forest, and before I knew it, we were on top of the hill, there, where her body now rests. I apologized for not coming to that place more often to be with her. And she said, as she would, "Oh no, it's not like I hang out here." This place is like my totem. I'm always happy to come here with you. But I'm out there. I asked why I hadn't felt her. I haven't seen you in my dreams or felt your energy the way I did those first few days. And she said something interesting to me. She said, "I'm not going to come into your home. I don't want it to feel like I'm haunting you. But anytime you want to find me, I am out here in the outdoors, and you can always find me here." I'm going to begin lighting the candles. This is the candle that we lit on Friday evening. And you may each light your candle from your neighbors. Your candles may go out. And that's okay. I don't know if this is going to work. And that's okay too. You know what? I'm going to add this flame to this flame. There we go. And perhaps we can light our candles from that flame or from some other flame here this weekend. But I invite you to hold your hands out and feel the warmth from that fire. There's one other thing that she said that I wanted to share with you here. When I asked her how I could help her and how I could carry her light and continue her work, she led me up to the stone table at the top of the knoll, and standing on the little Belden Hill Stonehenge, there I was filled with her energy. And as I looked around me, It was as if the valleys were filling with mist, like a pinkish, purplish sea rising around the hill. It was a completely clear day, but I could actually see her energy surrounding me. And she said this: "Stay connected to my people and help them stay connected to each other." And so we are here, and we are connected, so many of us. She was the smallest, the last one to run down the road to catch the school bus, the last one to leave the hill. And since then, we have grown apart in time and distance, and we have experienced the challenges of life. We have lost 2 dads, but she was always the one who held us together. The fact that she is the first of the Hill children to leave will never make sense. But through the connection of all of us and the connecting work that she did, and with each of us carrying a slice of that, I know we will continue her work and carry that love forth. These candles and this flame and this light are her warmth. Press that warmth into your heart. It is Zetty's love. And as we extinguish the fire, not our candles, in this moment, know that that warmth and love is within all of us. It is there when we need it, and for us to share with others when they need it. When you feel that you need more, go outside and find her there. And then let us go spread it.
Yeah, I think that was amazing. And now I think we just need to party.